Nice. Okay, let's start. So sorry for my voice. Last week I was really sick. I'm still recovering, but I hope everyone can hear me. So my name is Marc. I'm coming from Spain, from Barcelona, and the idea for the presentation is to showcase everyone some threads around the Linux ecosystem. So just to make a little survey, who is using Linux as a primary system here? Hands up. macOS, Windows, and for the people that is using Linux, you are using an antivirus on the system or not? An antivirus, an endpoint solution, a security, no, right? There is no malware for Linux. Who cares? Okay, so let's just start. So basically, I'm part of the great team. We are a distributed team all around the world, and we are analyzing threats. We uncovered the major cyber threat operations historically. Check out securelist.com for the latest reports, and the most interesting recent one, it's about Operation Triangulation, a consecutive of 0 days targeting the latest updated iPhones. So that was really cool. Here are my colleagues who are also contributing, of course, to those investigations. As I said, I'm based on Spain. So when we talk about threats, we talk about these different kind of things, right? I mean, downloaders, exploits, ransomware, mobile malware, backdoor, phishing, trojans, drive-by download. These are some of the words around the cybersecurity thingy and the cyber threat operations. Depending on what are you investigating, you will find one or multiple of these words around your investigation, but basically these are the threats around the different operations that we investigate. If we take a look at the numbers, these are just numbers. It's just to make a measure about what are we talking about. These statistics are collected at the end of December 2023. So I didn't put the statistics for the whole year because we didn't finish. But we have a few numbers about the different online attacks that we detected, different malicious URLs, mobile malware, ransomware attacks, etc. Just to make a number, we detected closely to 700,000 unique Linux malware files targeting that ecosystem, meaning that there are a lot of interest by the threat actors, either cranware or a state sponsor, to also target that ecosystem. So if we make, this slide is interesting because I want to make a difference between, I mean, when you are investigating something, you may believe it could be targeted, you may believe it could be a state sponsored, but at the end of the day, what we are seeing is that 80% of the threats are cranware. When we talk about cranware, we talk about ransomware, stealer, cryptojacking, crypto mining, all the stuff that can be collected and sell to other cyber criminal, like the initial access broker, the phishing attacks, the stealers that are selling credentials, blah, 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 ransomware stuff. All of this is cranware. That mostly closely to 20% are targeted attacks. That means that are attacks that are prepared for a specific organization, and only the 0.1% is APT. So as you can see, it's like to find, sometimes it's hard to find those kind of attacks because of the numbers compared to what we find about cranware. So I'm sure that some of you are on the research field. Maybe you spend like 2 weeks investigating something and then you figure out that was Cobalt Strike. I'm sorry, I mean, sometimes happen, but it's part of our history. So I guess we are living on the new era of multi-platform malware, so it doesn't matter that you are running macOS, Windows or Linux. We have threats for the three different scenarios. The cranware and APT landscape offers right now malware for the three different platforms. Even major APT groups like Lazarus have their own compiled versions for macOS, meaning that they have also interest on users running these kind of platforms. Even the ransomware groups, and Lockbit was the first one in the history that gave support with his ransomware to the Apple M1 system. So ARM system also affected by this. If we take the perspective from an organization, all the confidential data or important data is uploaded at the end of the day to Linux system. We are talking about virtualization systems, Kubernetes clusters, virtual data centers, blah, blah, blah. All the web service and important systems are based on Linux. So the Linux ecosystem is a reality for the bad guys. If we talk about infection vectors, here are few examples published by the community. We have an excellent research made by the tech team at Google, where they presented a campaign that an North Korean speaking group was targeting researchers over the social networks, basically exchanging messages with them in order to infect those people, because usually the researchers, we have access to really sensitive data and we have access to really cool companies, and that's why we are also a target of the nation-state sponsored actors. Also, we have another example for the genome Linux ecosystem, where the bad guys infected some files related to this desktop environment, and basically they had a zero-day targeting for people using genome. Also, the Spanish CERT also raised an alert for everyone about Lockbit Locker that was distributed after the users fall on phishing attacks. Basically, as the Lockbit builder was leaked, anyone can make their own RAS malware right now, and they can create their own compiled versions, and that's why we are seeing a lot of low-tier criminals that are using leaked builder of ransomware families to also create their own business. Also, we have a campaign that I will explain right now today. It's about the free download manager. That is a campaign that we detected that infected millions of users worldwide for years. And also, it is another interesting campaign where they use it fake zero-day POC exploits on GitHub push for Windows, Linux, and malware. If you want to follow this using Mitre, you can use these TTP's IDs. So what happened every time that the industry suffers a supply chain attack? So recently we could see this XZ utils package that was infected by, well, we still don't know the bad guy behind it, but basically they were for years preparing that campaign, and they managed to include the package on some of the major Linux systems. So we had the package available on Debian testing, and luckily one engineer from Microsoft, because the connection to the server was a few seconds late, he managed to discover one of the latest and major threats in our industry, and they managed to backdoor one of the main packages used to compress file in a Linux system. So the supply chain attacks are really dangerous, and we have to take care about if we use it in our organization. So this is a case that we discovered for the free download manager. So basically, we figured out that a few rare domains were available, and these domains were similar to the ones created by a domain generation algorithm. And we decided to investigate a little bit what's going on behind those new domains available for everyone. So basically, what we discovered is that one of the popular free download managers for Linux was infected. We still don't know how this happened, because this happened I mean, the first or the patient zero, the patient zero for this was like many years ago, and basically we also find out posts on Reddit, on other forums for people that was discussing about this, but they didn't know that they were discussing about the malware itself. They were like blaming the community about the free download manager that were not working, or some scripts were not available. And the thing is that the bad guys managed to modify the official website for free download manager to redirect some users, of course, because they had like a special fingerprint, like they were coming from specific countries, or they were coming from specific operating systems. For some of them, the page just offered the backdoor version of the free download manager. That is quite dangerous to investigate, and it's quite hard to investigate because you have to accomplish certain characteristics in order to get the official malware. So basically, this threat starts with configuring a cron on the system that will be checking every time if the system has certain things like new passwords or new configuration files, in order to be stolen by the campaign. And what they also deployed to the system was a Bashsteer that was checking for certain files on the system, like Opera passwords or Chrome passwords or Google Cloud passwords or Azure passwords. Basically, all of the kind of wallets and password files that we have stored in our Linux systems as a configuration files, because we needed to access to those platforms. This Bashsteer was stealing all of these credentials and sending them to the attackers in order to use it in other operations, like for example the usage of this infrastructure to perform other attacks or to sell this information to third parties. So basically, that was the idea of the campaign. The Bashsteer is quite simple. So basically, yes. Hello? Yes. So basically, the bash script looks like this. So it will check a lot of files and folders in the system in order to just copy all the .dat files and config files and send them back to the server. Another interesting history is about Mata backdoor. So Mata is a multi-platform framework that has support for Windows, Linux, and macOS. And basically, Mata is tied to the Lazarus APT group. It was discovered around 2018, and the actor behind this is an advanced malware framework that it was being used to aggressively infiltrate to corporate entities around the world. So the malware framework possesses several components. As I said, it has support for Windows, Linux, and macOS. The framework has different tooling available, a loader, an orchestrator. It has support for plugins, so you can extend the functionalities of the framework, and has support for Linux, macOS, and Windows. And it uses support or historical tools like Socket, that is more maybe used for system administration and also for pen testing. But these guys also included a modified version of Socket to be used in their operations. As a victimology, we can find like really interesting targets, including internet service providers, e-commerce, big e-commerce websites, defense contractors in Europe, and also software development companies. So companies that have really sensitive data around it. This is the framework or the architecture for the Windows version, just to make sure that you guys understand the capabilities of the Mata framework. So we are talking about a complex architecture that has different capabilities for the attackers, and the idea is that they have like a platform that they can use to do multiple operations on big companies. The Mata framework can be run independently, but they can also connect different Mata framework scenarios using what they call MataNet, that it's a network architecture to also communicate between Mata servers. So basically they have capabilities to use web proxies, to also use solely TCP connections to send and get files. They can also use different plugins to, for example, modify or get files on the system. So basically they can do whatever they want, controlling the machine remotely with Mata to do whatever they want. So during the investigation, we find out that we found a bundle package that contained the whole ecosystem of Mata. We are talking about all the plugins and all the files related to the Windows versions, but also we uncovered also a version working for Linux. The Linux version contained different exploits for the Atlassian suite. So basically, what we assessed that they were exploiting also Atlassian servers in order to deploy Mata, or upon they had access to the company, if they find out an internal server running Atlassian, they exploited the service to infect the server with the Mata backdoor. As I said, they also use tools like Socket to hide the connections internally. The functionality for the Linux version is to run as a daemon, and also they have utilities like a process checker to check if the Mata framework is running, and if not, launch it in case for whatever reason the process is suspended on the system. It has ability to also work with IoT devices and router systems in order to infect them and be, let's say, under the radar for more time. It has different plugins. The Linux version is not as much capable as the Windows one because of the architecture, but it has like really interesting features like manage files, manage processes, also to test plugins, and also do reverse connections to the system. Also, analyzing the bundle package, we find out a version for macOS. Basically, what Lazarus made is to backdoor one of the tools that are used to have like an OTP software on the desktop to manage your OTP codes, basically to access your favorite services like Google Cloud or any of the services that allows two-factor authentication. And we find out that the application was backdoored by Mata. When we talk about attribution, how we tied Mata to Lazarus, is because they were using two Unix files represented here with a high view. Basically, we find out that the bad guy reused some of the files used by Lazarus, and that's why how we made the first attribution to the group. And the other one is because of the manuscript configuration file. Basically, Mata is using the same config structure, so we know that the same development team is behind this malware. I don't know if you are aware of this, but Lazarus has like two groups. One of them is the one that we know to be that is conducting APT campaigns all around the world to infect different interesting companies. And the other one is what we call Brunnerhof, it's like a subdivision that the main purpose is to get money, for example, from cryptocurrency and this kind of stuff, in order to fund or self-fund their own operations, because at the end, to pay developers, to pay infrastructure, to pay resources, you need money. So if you have a subdivision that is getting money for you, you are a really proficiency group, and that's why there is a subdivision of Lazarus doing that. So AppleJeus is another example of campaigns that are targeting not only Windows but Linux and macOS systems. Basically, what this campaign does is to modify. It's a fake application that the user will be using to work with his exchange, and basically what the application will do is to steal the wallet from the user and send him back to the Lazarus guys in order to steal all the money. Basically, this happened with Lazarus multiple times. So basically, we made attribution because AppleJeus was for the Linux and macOS version was reusing the same C2 servers as the Windows version. So it's common for the groups to reuse infrastructure. They were using the same short key to encrypt and decrypt the data, and the AppleJeus sample has functionalities like to sleep, to be dormant on the system upon some event, some interesting event happening in the system. It has a habit to be communicating with the command and control server in order to check if there is any new task or order that is prepared by the operator. It has the ability to receive and send files from the system for the path and on the file system that the malware has access, and also it has the ability to execute commands directly in the system, for example, to delete traces or to also create files on the system during the infection. The macOS version was distributed using malicious apps, for example, buying fake domains and then using Google Ads or other techniques to point the users to download the fake applications, but we still don't know how they managed to force the users to use the backdoor version for Linux. So this is a configuration file that we had for AppleJeus. Basically, we had the one hidden app inside the bundle, and every time the user tried to execute the real application, they were starting the fake AppleJeus sample on background. And the latest campaign is about what we call DOSRAT. So basically, this is a special RAT that targets the Linux ecosystem. It's really, it has a lot of functionalities, and it's really useful for the attackers. The guys behind it only target specifically government entities, so they are interested on target the government. It's a binary that is inside an attachment file that is sent through speed phishing. So basically, they profile the victim, and when they believe they have something for the victim, they send a speed phishing, and they know that RAT is inside the speed phishing attachment. The main purpose of the RAT is to collect sensitive information from the victim. Basically, every time it infects a computer, it starts creating a log file with the date of infection, and also does an MD5 hash of the MDI decode command that should be unique for the system, and also assigns a random number as an ID in order to identify the victim. In order to do data exfiltration, what DOSRAT does is to check if it has root permission or not, because basically, depending on your permission level, you can access to some kind of the systems or other paths. So if you are not root, you cannot access to proc, USR, or other path. And if you are root, you can. And if you are not root, you can access to OPT or similar. So basically, it's just to not waste the time to read and access to the system, and maybe to avoid any alert if the victim has any endpoint solution installed. It has the capability to use proxies. So if the server has any corporate proxy configure DNO.RAT has the support to just pass the information using the corporate proxy, and is using encryption library that is also using with the popular IM messenger known as Pigeon. So just to make sure that we all understand which capabilities DNO.RAT has, basically it has a file management capability to enumerate the different files in the system, but also to upload files in the system like any other malware, any other utility, any other backdoor, any other exploit that is interesting for the attacker. It could also log any activity for debug purposes and to improve the RAT execution in the system. In terms of network, it has ability to do any kind of shit that we can imagine, like use the proxy or to send files, even to measure the speed of the network to make sure that the attacker can calculate how many times he needs to upload any file in the system. And also, as a latest thing, it has any like a needed capability to interact with processes and services in the system to check which is the username that is used for login, to enumerate process, to stop processes, to start services, to do whatever he needs to interact with the system. So as you can see, we can find a complete RAT solution only designed to the Linux ecosystem and only targeting government entities. So as I said, the Linux ecosystem contains all the sensitive and confidential information, and that's why the APT, the state-sponsored actors, are really interested on this ecosystem. They are also targeting, of course, managed cloud infrastructure like Azure, Google Cloud, or Amazon, but they have really interesting focus to target these Linux servers. And that's it. I hope you guys listening. I'm very dying, so apologize for that. So any question, really happy to reply.